CNS examination, motor, sensory and cerebral system. Okay, so we will start with the topic. So Dr. Kavya will assist me in demonstrating the science and examination part of the CNS. So Kavya, we will start with motor system, that is posture of the limbs. That is, the child may adopt a particular posture due to change in the muscle tone. That is deceleration or rigidity. There is extension of all four limbs with internal rotation of the arm and plantar flexion of the feet. So in motor system examination, you first have to tell about the posture of the child. Then you have to tell about the nutrition of the muscle. So nutrition is basically tested in, tested. How will you demonstrate the nutrition?
You will see for the muscle bulk.
So bulk of the muscle is inspected in three parts. That is inspection, palpation and measurement. Okay, so we have to remember 3S. That is size, shape and symmetry. Then examination of muscle volume and counter by general muscular development and the size of individual muscle and muscle groups are noted. And special attention is paid to abnormalities in volume and counter and to the evidence of atrophy or hypertrophy. So if there is any evidence on inspection, you will just see if there is any hypertrophy or atrophy of the muscles. So you have to expose the part. So So you will have just on inspection, you will just see for the bulge of the muscle or the tone of the muscle. Okay. Then you will see any flattening, hollowing or bulging of the muscle mass and should be evaluated mainly for the muscles of face, shoulder and pelvis, distal part of extremities, palmar surface of the hand, thenar and hypothenar eminence of the hands. Okay. After that, in palpation, you will feel the consistency and the volume of the muscle. So please demonstrate. So this is how you feel or palpate the muscles. So normal muscles are semi-elastic and regains their shape at once when compressed. Hypotonia or hypertrophy. So there may be hypertrophy or pseudo-hypertrophy, that is enlarged but may feel doughy or rubbery, globular, weaker rather than stronger in muscle. It is particularly seen in Duchenne's Baker's dystrophies. That is mainly seen in the calf muscle groups. Okay. Then hypertrophic muscles in the foot results in PKS. So there will be hypertrophy of these muscles. PKS. Okay. Then you have to assist for the tone or bulk of the muscle. Tone of the muscle. So what is tone? Tone is simply defined as the degree of tension present in the muscle at rest. This is the definition basically. State of a condition, continuous partial contraction even at rest is also tone. So tone may be increased, decreased or even normal. So testing tone in upper limb. Can you please show how to test it? So first you will pick up the hand and forearm of the child and just see for the resistance. So this is the normal tone. Same in the other hand also. After that, tone in the lower limbs. So this is normal tone. Then you will see the resistance of motion in the proximal group of muscles. So you will hold the hand distally and see for the range of movement. So you will hold the hand over here and see for the movement in this hand. If it is increased, then the patient is having hypotonia. If it is decreased, resistance to the motion is decreased, then it is hypertonia. So this is normal. Same for the this one. Okay. So this is how you test the range of movement in the peripheral joint or peripheral group of muscles by holding the distal group of muscles. Okay. you actually see for some phenomena or some angles. So they are adductor angle, popliteal angle, dorsiflexion angle, and scarf sign. So we don't have a newborn or infant to demonstrate it, but we will try to demonstrate in this boy only, and then you can do it in the infant whenever you have the patient with you. So in adductor angle, can you please show how to do adductor angle? Yes. So this is how you do the adductor angle. Okay. Then popliteal angle. The popliteal angle. Then dorsiflexion angle. Dorsiflexion angle is when you flex this and you try to bring the foot end towards your knee. Okay, that is dorsiflexion. And what is scarf sign? When you have to take the hand and see if your elbow passes the midline, crosses the shoulder, or it does not cross. So this will basically tell you the tone. Then you can see for the pendulousness of the leg. Okay, but or नीचे से pendulum. So both the legs of the same horizontal level and release them. So then we will see for the swing. Okay, swinging of the leg, that is progressively diminished in the range. So first the leg will move like this, then slowly it will decrease. But if it does not decrease, it indicates that the patient has hypotonia. Okay, and it is mainly seen in extrapyramidal rigidities. Then we will see for power. Then the power needs to be assisted in all the individual muscle groups. So for deltoid, you should do abduction of the arms from rest to the horizontal position. Yes. Yes. This is abduction of the arms from the rest to the horizontal position. This is testing the power of deltoid muscle. Then we will test for biceps, flexion of the elbow with the forearm in supinated position. So this is testing of biceps. Then triceps with the elbow fully flexed. Ask the child to extend the arm. With elbow fully flexed, ask the child to extend. Yes. So this is power of triceps. Then in prone position, patient attempts to lift his knee off the bed against the resistance. So we are now testing for gluteus maximus. Okay, this is gluteus maximus. In quadriceps in supine position and with the knee partially flexed, the patient attempts to extend his knee against the resistance. Extend. Yes, this is quadriceps. Then in hamstring in prone position, the patient tries to flex his knee against the resistance. Prone. The patient tries to flex his knee against the resistance. This is for hamstrings. Okay. Then gastrocnemius in supine position and with the knees extended, the patient attempts to push down the sole against the resistance. Yes. This is for gastrocnemius and soleus. Then tibialis anterior. In the supine position and with the knee extended, the patient attempts to dorsiflex his foot against the resistance. Dorsiflex. This is for tibialis anterior. Okay. That's it. So power of grading for power is 0 is none, no movement. Then 1 is flickering movement. 2 is movement possible after elimination of the gravity. 3 is movement possible against gravity but not against resistance. 4 is movement possible against gravity and against mild to moderate resistance, and 5 is normal power. Okay. Then the reflexes. So we will divide it into superficial reflexes and deep reflexes. So in superficial reflexes we will see abdominal reflexes, corneal and conjunctival reflexes. So abdominal reflex here, उस पे focus करना. So you will just stroke the needle. Yes. So the abdominal reflex is present. Okay. Then in deep reflexes, plantar reflex, that is S1. Stroke the lateral border of the sole of the foot from the heel to the toe. Normal response is plantar flexion of all the toes. In pyramidal lesions, there is dorsiflexion of the big toe with fanning of the other toes. Okay, this is plantar flexion. Then biceps, C5C6. C5C6. Tap the bicep tendon after partial flexion and pronation of the elbow. Further flexion of the elbow and visible contraction of the bicep muscle. Then tricep, C7, C8. Tap the tricep tendon just below the elbow after flexing the elbow above the chest. Extension of the elbow and visible contraction of the tricep muscle. Then supinator, that is radial, that is C7, C8. Tap the brachioradialis tendon at the lower end of the radius after partial flexion and pronation of the elbow. Further flexion and pronation of the elbow and visible contraction of the brachioradialis muscle. Then we will go for knee jerk, that is femoral, C3, L3 and L4. Tap the quadricep tendon just below the knee after partial flexion of the knee and supporting them with the hands in the supine position. There is extension of the knee and visible contraction of the quadricep muscle. Okay. Then ankle, sciatic nerve S1, S2. Tap the tendo-Achilles after partial flexion of the knee and external rotation of the leg. There is plantar flexion of the ankle and visible contraction of gastrocnemius muscle. Okay. So grading of reflexes is absent means 0, sluggish reflexes, that is +1, normal is +2, +3 is brisk, and brisk with clonus is +2. Then sensory system examination. So superficial sensation, touch sensation tested by cotton wool. Test for signs of meningeal irritation, that is neck stiffness. It is tested by passively flexing the neck of the child in the supine position. The older child may be asked to touch his chin to his chest. Neck stiffness is present if there is resistance to passive flexion of the neck and pain occurs on forceful attempt to flex the neck. So causes of neck stiffness, it may be present in meningitis. Then Kernick sign in supine position with the hips and knee in flexed position. Extend the knee. Normally this is possible up to 140 degrees. It is restricted in meningitis. Then Rudzinski sign, on the flexion of the neck in the supine position there is flexion of hip and knees in case of meningitis. Flexion of neck. So this is normal. Also one flexion of one leg, the other leg also flexes in meningitis.